Acolyte predictions and things like that. And we're live. Look
We're
at that.
live! Hello, Star Wars fans, to this week's episode of Duel of the Ranks, a show where we debate takes so hot that they'd melt a planet with twin suns. My name's Brody, and I'm joined by my co-hosts Brian, Alanis, and Amanda. On this week's episode, we're going to be discussing ranks and hot takes from The Acolyte, a show that hasn't come out yet, so we might be talking about some bingo predictions. Not really sure how in-depth we're going to get there. We didn't do a whole lot of pre-planning for this show, but we're going to do it anyway. By the end of this episode, we're going to have a definitive answer on what we think about the show Acolyte and some things we are confident are going to happen. With that, Brian, you're wearing a Superman shirt today, or is it Superman? Is it hit? Well, who is it?
It's evil Superman.
Evil Superman.
Yeah, he's
Isn't
not
that
in
Bizarro?
that.
Isn't that Bizarro?
That's the other evil Superman. There's evil Superman, and there's evil Superman, and then there's dark Superman, and then there's I don't really know anything about Superman. I just really like this shirt.
Fun fact about Superman. So I live in New Jersey, and we have the biggest Six Flags, if anyone was curious. And because of that, everything is themed around like Batman, Superman, and the Bizarro ride has now been switched to like some Medusa ride, except the skeletons of Superman they're still there. So the S's are still there. The like remnants of the cape are still there. So it's a very odd theming.
Wait, is Six Flags is like general theme, like just capes or flags, or what is it? Fabric flowing in the wind, or what is the?
They do actually sell a lot of capes. Like, I'm not even lying. All of my school trips were to Six Flags, and you would come home with a Wonder Woman, a Batgirl, Superman.
Do they have the licensing for that? That's so weird.
I really don't think they do, because everything there is just a little off.
Is it?
Every time I go, something's just a little bit off about Six Flags. Wow. But I guess that's the allure of it. Or maybe I've just been ruined by Disney.
Sure. Yeah, it's definitely not.
Have we all been ruined by Disney? I think so.
That's probably.
I don't know. I just know Six Flags is from Texas. The original name was Six Flags Over Texas. It's about the history of our beautiful state and the different countries that have ruled over it. That's where the name comes from.
Really?
Super fun fact. Yeah.
Fun fact. I've been to the San Antonio, Texas.
Heck yeah. San Antonio rules.
Broderick, you have something to say about San Antonio, don't you?
It's okay.
No ghost Spurs.
Yeah, most of my family lives in San Antonio. It's a good city. We do have the Spurs. We have some good basketball. We also are near, I think we actually are the home of the best fast food burger. I think it is Whataburger. I mean, Amanda, you should know all about that, leaving our Midwest state for Kansas City, where Patrick Mahomes took Whataburger, and not to Nebraska, but did bring it out to Missouri. So that's something.
True. Not to be that guy.
So that gives you a reason to visit me, so you can get closer to having a burger.
Closer to Whataburger. Absolutely. So worth it. The original's actually in Corpus Christi, Texas. Sorry to be that nerd.
San Antonio. I was wondering if it was.
What a cool name.
Why does San Antonio get all the love for that then?
They get a lot of love for a lot of things. Corpus Christi's kind of under the radar. Just the lead singer from Green Day's from there. That's pretty much it. That's
Billy Joe Armstrong.
Yeah,
I thought he was from Berkeley.
Probably went to school at Berkeley, but he's from Texas. And he's got
Or I mean Oakland. I'm sorry, but okay. I guess I didn't realize that.
Pretty sure I could just be making that up. Who knows? That's what we do on Duel of the Ranks. We challenge your presuppositions. No, this shirt actually stands for Spurs. It's actually the Spurs color.
Heck yeah.
San Antonio.
Yeah, it does.
Yes.
See, okay. So here's my problem. I got a lot of love for my San Antonio Spurs, and as I got Amanda onto them this season, my Tottenham Hotspurs. So I've got a lot of love for both teams. Been a fan for years of both teams, since childhood, in fact. The question is,
year,
what's that?
every year, I pick a new sports ball team to root for. This year, I think it's going to be the Raiders. Don't know why. I just think the colors are speaking to me this year.
Black
Knowing
and
who your husband
gray?
is, that pick makes me very happy.
I know he's very upset about it. He's very, very upset about it.
Do you like horses?
No, I'm
Will
actually.
you like
terrified of them.
horses?
Will you like
I
horses?
think I have to now.
When will you like horses?
Once the Raiders win the Super Bowl this year.
Okay. When the Raiders win and need a new sports ball team, the Broncos are available. That's another one of my beloved teams. Although I will say I didn't start a Broncos fan. I did get married to the Bears and had an affair with the Broncos. There was some stuff on the side. Look, I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't the cleanest break. Like but here's the thing. I left the Bears when they were at their high. They got Khalil Mack. Like, you don't leave when they're down in the dumps, right? They were doing very well. They got promoted. Good things were happening. I'm like, I'm gonna slide out and you're gonna hardly notice. As you should. And the Broncos weren't doing that hot, and they still aren't. But I love them anyway. And we've had a thing going. Mostly one way. I fell in love with a train wreck, and their life is still in disarray. And somewhere in my mind is like, I can fix them. Nope.
You can't fix them. But if you can love them at their low point, then it's all uphill from there.
It's just
which is a great transition to the new Star Wars series that's coming out. If you can
do we have a bingo card for what we think is going to happen?
I have a bingo card, a blank one. I don't know how to share it with y'all, but I could share my screen and then we could somehow draw on it or something.
Oh,
or I could share it in our Discord.
I want to see this.
Okay.
All right, I've got prediction number 1 lined up. I have seen one trailer, so by that I think I am the most prepped of this group to make the predictions.
100%.
I've seen the trailer.
Think Boba Fett's gonna make an appearance.
Yeah, totally.
Maybe a flash forward.
Yeah, I could see some crossover there. Clearly, the most important character
ever
to be included. Need him in everything, except he wasn't in Bad Batch. Still mad about that.
Yeah, well, dude, what a missed layup!
Man,
what best character in Star Wars, and you left him out. Well, it's probably because it wasn't one of the best shows. They were trying to
it's top 5.
What if it's like Jango Fett's great grandpa?
That would be hilarious because feel very shoehorned in there.
Yeah, they would. It's like a deep lineage backstory, but we know that there's obviously an antagonist, so maybe that's the root of their I don't know.
Fett as a last name.
Yeah. I'm
His
Fett up.
Jethro Fett. I like that.
Jethro Fett.
Jethro.
He was the first Mormon bounty hunter. I dig
Jethro.
This is a very Mormon sounding name.
My name's Jethro
I agree.
Fett.
You get my stamp of approval.
Here on Mandalore, we got 6 wives.
Well, I'm still trying to share my. I did this last week. How did I do this? There's
present.
I will say,
where is that?
Surprisingly enough, I do think Yoda will make an appearance.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Sadly.
Now,
do you think
though,
I will say, or do you think it'll be CGI?
So here's my thing. The only way that I could get a Yoda redemption is if they show up with some janky looking Muppet. If they give me a 750-year-old Yoda that looks like it crawled out of the back lot of Jim Henson's Creature Shop, fine. All is forgiven. All is forgiven.
That's what matters.
Or the second option, I think it would be hilarious if they just did a sexy Yoda. Just
hey, have you seen some of that fan art? Of young Yoda,
oh yeah, the High Republic,
oh yeah, okay,
style, where he's got a cool mullet or whatever.
Yeah,
I think that would kind of be funny. That would kind of be funny.
He would, but I feel like he's still super old by this point, right? He's still what, 500?
Yeah, it's only 100 years before the Phantom Menace, so he's
800,
that would be really 700 funny. Something.
No, but that's what would be funny about it.
Yeah,
he would still be old, but they have just DILF level Or Gilf. Yeah, Gilf.
Gilf level
Yoda. Gilf level
Oh my
Yoda.
gosh, Brian, you made this?
Wow.
Figured it out.
That's
yeah, I made it from a
stunning.
thing I found on Discord. Yeah.
Wow, Brian. Wow,
Now filling
this
it
is
up
so good.
is another question. I don't know how to draw on this.
What do you have it open in?
This is just Google Chrome.
Oh yeah. Amanda, open up that Canva.
Here, I can
just
send it to you on Discord. How about that? I'll just send it
All
to
right.
you.
Listeners, you are seeing us listeners, you're seeing us. You're hearing us. And if you're not in the live chat, well, you missed out because you got to be a part of the creation of this bingo card that we're going to be doing throughout the season. I can't believe, Amanda, we didn't do this before. Like, we totally should have leveraged our listeners to like help us make content in the past. We're just
I can't believe we've never done that.
So sloppy. Yes, KG, a bingo board is in the makes. Brian, share it with Amanda.
I'm getting it downloaded.
Officially sent it to you.
Or Illustrator or whatever you do.
Give me like 4 seconds.
No,
and
that's so much faster than me. All right, you got this.
Brian's like, I just learned to share my screen, and now we're sharing Amanda's. It's fine. It's fine. Okay.
Technology.
But what do we actually think? Are we going to get Yoda flashbacks of like young Yoda at any point?
I do think we are going to get a Yoda moment. I really do. I think it'll be like an episode. I don't think it's going to be a huge moment. But because of Yoda's high, influence in this era, because he is kind of really the only tangible character that's alive during this time, I think it would honestly be a missed opportunity to not include Yoda in some way, shape, or form.
Even younger Yoda. That's a good prediction.
Yeah, I'm not happy about it, but
I really are. It's like, here's the thing. I'm not triggered by your Yoda hate. I just don't understand it. And I think it's a sign of another issue that like probably shouldn't even be addressed on this show.
No, I just think he's just a terrible leader.
You've got some hate. Hey, we got
he's
a
terrible leader
prediction in the chat here.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Plo Koon.
There's been images of at least a species that looks like Plo Koon in Jedi robes in the trailers, so I think that's a solid prediction. I was gonna predict Plo Koon actually having a voice line because I think it's pretty all but confirmed that it's going to be Plo Koon there. I think his lifespan
is alive at this point.
There's a lot of crazy species that have long lifespans, even if it's only like 200 years. No, he's the best Jedi, and he should be. He's like the coolest, only like
Not
good one that I actually like. Yeah, exactly. What else do you need to say? He's their individuality. I mean, I guess to jump on the Yoda hate train too with you, Atlantis. I have a lot of my own projected disdain for religious authority figures that I project onto Yoda, and that's where a lot of my hatred comes from. I love him as a character, as an antagonist, as an obstacle for Luke to overcome in The Empire Strikes Back, but as like a super wise person you should look up to and listen to, I'm not.
Yeah, no.
I don't respect him at all.
Okay, I have more of like a vague prediction or hope, I guess. And that's that we see some like new force abilities or new technology that we haven't seen before. Something that's like very unique to this era.
Show that exists. You get.
I will say we are not counting the lightsaber whip though, because we saw that in the trailer.
Has been confirmed.
What? I didn't see that.
Yeah,
that counts. No, that has to count. It has to count.
Okay,
because wherever this is though, because you're not guaranteed a bingo.
True.
I am.
Can we say Darth Plagueis in here?
Yeah, I do definitely think Plagueis will show up.
Really?
I do, because here's the thing. Even though it is pretty much confirmed at this point that the Sith are how do you spell it? There's like an I
in between.
There's an I somewhere.
G-L-U-Z.
After the E. Plagueis, start the Plagueis. That's after the E. There's U-E-I-S at the end.
U-E-I-S.
I'm a spelling Nazi. I'm sorry. I always have been.
U-E-I-S. Stop using vowels.
I know, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
No one knows how to use them. No. We got to come up with some predictions other than characters because like I
here's
would love to see some Maz Kanata, but like, oh, actually no, put that one. Never mind.
That one should be in there.
Actually, is a really cool idea.
I feel like we always, whenever we talk about these predictions, obviously we're referencing things that have already happened in Star Wars or characters that already exist. And I feel like in the past, they very under-delivered in that. And we always assume that they're going to hand out a lot more fan service than they actually end up doing. Mm-hmm. But it's harder to guess things that aren't
I think
already out there.
Is gonna die. The Jedi Master from the trailer. I don't know. Ooh. I just have a gut feeling that he is gonna die because from everything, from the trailers, from what we've seen, it's current and past kind of Padawans not fighting over him, but fighting towards him. I guess I don't know. And I think thematically that could be something very cool that Star Wars could play around with, considering that Acolyte is meant to be kind of a darker, sinister show. I think that could be really, really sick if it's these two past and present fighting and then he dies and then they're like, oh, what now?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, and for May's journey as well, I think there's a lot to discover about her character. There's a lot of theories going around that she has an identical twin, or that there's like a Jekyll and Hyde thing going on. I wanted to ask y'all if May, because May in the trailer, she says, I didn't kill him. But obviously she's like trying to kill Carrie-Anne Moss in the trailer. So like, I don't know what's going on.
So
what would y'all lean towards?
While my gut says like the most obvious answer being the twin, you know what I mean? I would love a Jekyll and Hyde. Mm-hmm. That would just be so twisted.
That
just
would be
absolutely cool. Twisted to see that and how the people around them would react would also be interesting because do you prosecute the side that and love, or do you prosecute the one that did the crime? Do I think they're gonna go that route now? But man, I would love it.
How do we feel?
I did both of those.
About the Knights of Ren making their first ever real appearance.
Yes, let's do it. Give me more Knights of Ren stuff. Stop shying away from it. They're so cool.
I would be so down.
They're so cool. I want to see Arm Cannon in my boy Arm Cannon. That's his name the name of the action figure. I don't have him near me, but he's so cool. He's just got an arm cannon. He's just like freaking Buzz Lightyear, but like dark side. I want to see him around in the Acolyte. I don't know how old he is. I don't know how long he's been around. He could be a Plo Koon species. Who knows?
Okay, I want to see a like Jedi Vector.
Mm-hmm.
Like into life.
They're in the poster. Sorry, I'm just spoiling everything. I mean, that's. I've just seen what's in the promotional materials. I've eaten all of it up, honestly. But yeah, seeing the Jedi Vectors on the poster got me very excited. So I would love to see them too.
Do you think that, and this is a dream, do you think that they would talk more about either like the idea of Padawan clans and or like more about the Padawan trials? Because typically when we saw it during the prequels era, they're just like the trials, there's actually a war happening.
We just need soldiers.
New trial.
Yeah.
Have fun, kids.
You killed a couple droids. That counts. So I think that would be really, really neat if we saw more of what the Jedi were meant to be. Hopefully. I think I would be very, very excited.
Yeah, that's why I've been so excited for this show, is just seeing the Jedi at their peak, where they were allowing a little bit more flexibility with, not attachment, not possessiveness, but with, connection and interpersonal, relationships, as well as like things like that. Like you're saying, like seeing what the trials and what the life of a Padawan would have been like outside of the context of a war would be really cool, especially like with a character like May, like who's obviously not in the Jedi Order. She's still really young. So like what happened to make her leave? Maybe she just failed the trial. Maybe she didn't, maybe she's not this super angry, anti-Jedi person like they're painting her to be. Maybe the council like has this issue where they're like trying to kind of pin these murders on someone, and they blame her just like they frame Ahsoka, or not frame Ahsoka, but just how they are ready to just execute her at the drop of at the first sign of any evidence. I feel like we could see something like that. And if Yoda is involved, I would love to see some more Yoda hypocrisy. I'd love to see him like betray May and accuse her of being this anti-Jedi terrorist when really she's just a kid who failed out of the academy and is just trying to do her own thing and is being either blamed or possessed by this Sith artifact that she gets from that other sketchy dude. Like, who knows?
Now, obviously, with a lot of things from the trailer, we can infer there's definitely some other Force users being drawn on, using it through magic. Now, it obviously doesn't look exactly like the Night Sisters, but do we think we're going to see either a Night Sister reference or like a pre-Night Sister?
I think, like Force magic.
Yeah, well, I definitely think we're getting Force magic, but I wonder if we're going to get like
say the Night
specifically
Sisters.
Like
say their name.
Morgan Elsbethy. But I don't know if they're going to go that crazy.
Yeah, I kind of hope not. I don't want everything to tie into the Mandoverse right now. Like that's the era that I'm kind of like over emotionally.
I could understand that. But
okay, like, I have a prediction.
Be its own thing.
I predict that one of the like dialogues, like sequences, will say the name of like reference a High Republic book title.
Yeah.
Like they might be like, "This is our Light of the Jedi," or something like that. You know what I mean?
Okay,
I like that. Okay.
Try to like pull in some like references or like little nods to be like, "Oh, like you could be Leonardo DiCaprio pointing at the screen. He said the thing."
I'm sure there's going to be tons of Old Republic or High Republic references in there. I haven't even thought of it. I haven't really dived into too many of the books. I've read one of them and then just read Star Wars Explains or watch his videos that explain it.
Well, speaking of Old Republic stuff, I think we're going to get some call out or flashback, some mention of the original, the OG Jedi Sith War.
Bring some of that stuff into canon. I mean, it's all canon, right? It's all been referenced before, but to make it more concrete.
Yeah, they're gonna put some more detail around it. Even if it's just as much as Luke and Obi-Wan talking about the Clone Wars, we're gonna get more of that backstory in this series with the original Jedi Sith War.
Jake said, "What are we? A bunch of acolytes?"
I am.
Feeling it. I'm feeling it.
This S actually stands for sucker because I drank the Kool-Aid.
But to go back to Brody's point, I do definitely think that some of the OG Sith War is going to be mentioned, because I think something has to happen with Plagueis because this 100-year gap is so vague as to how Palpatine and that whole everything really kicks off its own kind of like Big Bang Theory in a way. So while I don't think that's what the show is going to focus on, I do think there are going to be little bits and pieces here and there to really ease that transition a little bit more.
Right. I had a prediction too that like because they're placing this so close to Phantom Menace, like the High Republic era is like 400 years, right? It spans 400 years, but they decided to place this show a lot closer to the Phantom Menace than any of the other content. So I was wondering how closely it's going to tie into it. There's going to be some mention of the prophecy. I think that's kind of my big guess, is that they're actually going to like have a verbal, like more concrete version of what the prophecy actually means.
The chosen one.
I don't think so.
Chosen one prophecy.
Only because like the chosen one prophecy was always like an established kind of thing. It wasn't just like in the last 100 years, let's really hype this thing up. It was more or less like Qui-Gon got real interested and got real hyper fixated on the archives, and they just kind of let him go for it. They were like, all right, Qui-Gon, just please shut up at the council meetings. Like, we get it. Just please go. So I don't know. I don't know about the Chosen One prophecy. I really, really think they are trying to move Star Wars away from Skywalker.
No.
Yeah, they say they are, but like, how far can they actually? Like, this is a first step.
They keep bringing Luke
direction,
Skywalker
but...
back into the Mandalorian. Like,
They
yeah,
do.
they're really trying to get away from it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really see the Chosen One. I see if anything, it's going to be more Plagueis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would hope so. I wouldn't love to see the prophecy. I don't think it needs to tie into the Skywalker saga. I'm totally okay.
Yeah.
I would actually rather it just be its own story. But
It's
I
only
just think
100
that's the move that they
years.
would make.
Guys,
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
but let me pull this back in for a second. We have like all these really great ideas, right? They're all like, oh my gosh, they're so rich. They're full of potential and possibility, and they enrich what's already been built upon and ask questions or lead us to more questions, but answering some things. But in reality, it's probably going to be 8 episodes of just character building to a big cliffhanger that maybe mentions Plagueis like at the very end.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so how like realistic can we get some of these to be?
The Force theme, that's going to happen at some point.
Yeah.
Is that free
Yeah.
space? Yes, that's a good one.
That's that is a good one.
It's I'm sure it'll come up in
Blue lightsaber.
Blue lights.
No, okay,
like
hear me out. Do we get a different
Pink
color lightsaber? Yeah.
like something totally new.
No.
No.
I'm saying like different color lightsaber, like as a like
brown
norm.
I want to see a brown lightsaber.
Puke green.
It just looks like
Puke
one
green.
long turd.
Yeah, a glowing turd. But hey, it's different. I love the lightsabers in Ahsoka, the orange ones that Balin and Shin have. I would love to see maybe they have some kind of roots in this era as well, because they definitely their style, their whole wardrobe kind of evokes like an older age, than the Jedi or than the prequels. So I would guess that there could be some tie-in with Balin and Shin.
All right,
yeah, and the trailer definitely showed more than just like blue and green, which is nice to see.
Yeah.
A lot of
so
yellow.
Knowing we have to make sure we get some that people do actually, we can make sure we check off on this list. Maybe we say like traveling at hyperspeed.
Lame.
I'm just saying, you're gonna get it.
It can't be in the trailer.
What about like a bar fight or something?
You think there'll be a bar fight? That's a good guess.
I feel like that's like it's
kind of a staple in Star Wars. Doesn't always happen, but it's
yeah,
we can check it off.
Okay.
/ cantina scene. / cantina
what about
scene.
Wilhelm scream?
A Wilhelm scream. We actually haven't gotten very many. Yeah, they kind of stopped that tradition after Rise of Skywalker. Wilhelm scream is a great prediction. Does it fit the tone of the show, though?
I also have one. There's going to be some form of a prison break.
A prison break. Another prison break. 3 shows in a row.
Yep. Okay. But it's not going to be like a huge prison break. It's going to be just like almost like Mando season 1 prison break. Where it's just like a squad.
Like a covert operation.
Yeah.
I'm going to say we're going to witness some form of droid prejudice.
Ooh. Don't we always?
It's inevitable.
Yeah, that is.
It's the life of a droid.
Droid rights.
Droid.
Hell yeah.
Lack of droid rights.
We haven't really seen too much of the droids in these trailers, but I'm sure there's always a new little like R2.
There's it's like a pocket droid.
Right.
Like I thought of you recently, Brian.
It's like a little Tamagotchi.
Yeah.
I was watching the movie The Creator.
Oh yeah.
Christopher Nolan. It made me think of you. I was like, this is Brian's perfect world. Like everyone's fighting for the droids.
Wasn't paying a whole lot of attention when I watched it.
I want to see that movie.
It's pretty cool. It's actually Gareth Edwards, I think that.
Yeah, no, it grabbed my attention like immediately. I was like, this is so up my alley. So
yeah, I like the idea of it. I think it got a little like pretentious. So like I kind of stopped paying attention partway through. Started doing
family drama should be a square. KG, I like that.
Family drama.
Also redemption arc. Isn't that kind of a free space? But maybe.
I don't know. Who knows? I don't think we'll be seeing too much of like the actual Sith. That's kind of my prediction, is that the Sith are like barely involved, and that all the villains in this that are directly involved are actually just like the Knights of Ren or some completely different faction. I don't know.
You'll have to tell me if this is seen in the trailer, because I think I only watched it one time. But what about like a Senate scene?
Oh, I would love to see some politics.
Oh yeah, I would put that in there. Well, I don't know. The only reason I don't know is because the whole thing of this era is that the Jedi are removed from the politics. They're out in the galaxy. They're not centered in and around Coruscant as much. So
but maybe it would have the
I don't
beginnings
know.
of them becoming political.
Right. There would have to be some kind of
They're just going to get pulled in.
Right. Yeah. But maybe this is this. I mean, they
some guy gets yanked into a Senate meeting and he's like, "Oh, I like this." And
or even if it's just like expositional, like the situation, like setting up kind of the policies or whatever.
They get their first.
The last episode is just Yoda walking into the Senate
with
the Imperial March being played on a flute.
On the flute.
You know, just like a little lighter than normal.
Yeah.
Right. How funny.
Oh, I did have one more prediction, and I'm gonna ramble until I remember what it was. It was that different Force factions. Speaking of which that has been kind of a focal point. Like we've kind of talked a lot about the dark side factions, but what about like the Church of the Force or like the Guardians of the Wills? I would love to submit Guardians of the Wills.
So Force cults
as a square. Yes, light side and dark side, both just like normal people that choose to like seeing the actual effect of their ideology on real citizens of the galaxy,
Yeah,
really cool.
We did it,
like
guys.
that.
We came up with an Acolyte Bingo.
I love that type of like lore building. If we want to like take a different guess at the Jedi vector or new technology, since this one was definitely in the trailer, I'm open to any other predictions.
I'm really happy that Boba made the list. I'd like to put this on our Twitter just to confuse people, to be like, hold on, what did they see that we didn't see?
We saw Boba Fett in the trailer.
New cute creature.
A cute little furry guy.
Yes, new cute creature.
I love that.
Yes, I want more stuffed animals.
Yes.
Let me buy them.
More merch.
Yes,
porgs?
Give it to me.
Aren't there porgs?
Katie is like, why is Boba Fett there? We need to remove Boba
You missed
Fett.
the beginning of this conversation. You're just gonna have to listen on demand. Because I'm on this week's episode of Duel of the Ranks. That's the answer. I got to put one thing in.
Okay, we got what I would say though. The fans are uprising, so
they're not happy.
I'm happy with Boba Fett here, and here's my thing about it. Can you imagine if he was?
He's so silly. There's no other word to say it other than silly. Like
silly.
That is just
yeah.
All right, listen. So how about this? Don't say Boba Fett. Just say Tamara Morrison
or a Fett.
Just someone Tamara Morrison in some capacity.
Fett guys, some fat guys just chilling.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
No. Instead of new Force cults, actually, I wanted my prediction to be more about the Guardians of the Wills specifically, because they're like the coolest thing that was only mentioned in Rogue One and never brought up ever again.
How's that?
Right?
WHILLS? I feel like that was something that Christian talked about.
Y'all know the original title of Star Wars?
Yeah, it was
the Adventures of Luke Starkiller, as taken from the Journal of the Wills, Saga 1, the Star Wars. So like the Journal of the Wills title. I know, right?
Yeah.
George Lucas had
and the beginning of all things when Luke Skywalker has a
Yeah, no, it was very different. But yeah, the journal I can't even talk. Journal of the Wills was like a very, very old idea that I would love to see come to fruition. Like Chirrut is one of the Guardians of the Wills at the time of Rogue One, and they're kind of like the last little, or at least they look like they're kind of the last little group of dudes just hanging out in an alley talking about philosophy. I don't really know who they are, what they really believe, but I think that if there's any one kind of Jedi adjacent sect that we're going to see, I think it would be that one.
Okay.
Maybe it's just coming off the heels of finishing Jedi Survivor the other week, but how possible is it that like there's some type of like, can we get Grease in the background of a scene or something?
No.
A Dagon Gera reference?
Yeah, I don't know.
Dagon Gera is so cool. We haven't heard your full take about the game.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
I know I wasn't here last week, but I finished the whole game in an entire week flat, which is very abnormal for me. I was very direct on the storyline though, and the whole third act, my jaw was like on the ground. I was so excited from the like speeder bike point to like the very end of it. I was getting my butt kicked in that final boss fight, but when Cal turns to the dark side,
embrace the dark side. Brutal.
For real, I can't. And I love that they did that for his character. And I'm just so excited for part 3. And I hope that plays into it even more. At the whole time, I was like, oh my God, he's going to kill Marin. Like Marin's going to die. Something's going to happen. So I'm glad that Marin got to live to see another day. But,
and that they kiss. Oh my gosh.
They kissed several times. They like kiss. And I was like, okay. They're coming for Kanan and Hera as the most shippable, healthy relationship in Star Wars. So
yeah, I think I agree. I think Hera.
Speaking of people turning to the dark side, I will say to replace Jedi Vector, I do think we're going to see like an unexpected Jedi turn to the dark side.
Ooh.
Like not one that we think. Like I think it's going to be like a whoa moment. So I don't know which one. So I'm going to say unexpected. Okay. Unexpected Jedi.
Someone from the books, that would be crazy. I don't know.
No, I think it's just going to be like a character that like we all fall in love with and we're like, oh my God, they're so great.
Didn't see that coming.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden they're going to be like force choke.
Oh yeah. And then the fact that like Bode was also like a Jedi, that was so cool too.
That was a twist. I wasn't sure how I felt about that twist because like they already used that in the first game. Like, oh wow, this guy used to be a Jedi, now he's evil, and it was just kind of like you can't just keep using like, oh, they survived Order 66
I know,
as like a story card all the time. We don't like Order 66 that much, do we? Like,
no,
I don't know. It's all these compilations, all these YouTube videos that are just like all over Order 66 being the best scene in Star Wars. Like, go to therapy. Like, no, like it's not the best scene in Star Wars. I think it's great on its own. We don't need to keep like replaying it or like showing flashbacks to it, and we don't need every character to be a former Jedi. So like that twist was like my least favorite part, but I loved everything else about
it. You're wrong. I don't know. I mean, how many ways can I tell you you're wrong? There is a reason they keep bringing that scene up. And it's because, now look, I know you're like 17 and you weren't alive when Revenge of the Sith was made. But listen, when I was a child and I watched Anakin Skywalker cut those Jedi down, there was a layer of trauma that was baked into all of us kids in the 5th, 6th, 7th grade. We were all just sat there in awe of what we had just seen. And we're like, yeah, it's the greatest Star Wars movie, but also like, I mean, one thing you got right, I'm sure a lot of people needed therapy after that because it was a traumatic event for us, which I don't know, man. Maybe it's not the best scene in Star Wars, but the fact that they keep calling back to it, especially in things like for a guy like Cal, where it was like the pivotal, like game-changing point in his life, I think it just makes sense. And yeah, he's going to keep bumping into people.
Order 66, like low-key kind of was the pivotal point. Like,
yeah,
killed all the Jedi.
Yeah.
So like, even though like it is a very like, I don't want to say tired, but kind of tired, point in the timeline, it's kind of no wonder that it keeps being brought up 1,012 times, because if you were alive or near that era in any way, shape, or form, you either know someone or have a personal connection to Order 66.
Yeah.
So
yeah, if you're a Jedi, yeah, for sure. And the first time I think the first like time they replayed it and used the same theme and everything was for Jedi Fallen Order, if I'm correct. And then again for the Clone Wars, and that fit really well. I was super emotionally invested in those scenes, but like when it's a little much when you have to show Grogu surviving it and Reva and like all these other characters. It's not sad anymore. It's just a thing that happened.
Among all of the things that, we could gripe about Mandalorian, I think that they pulled off the Order 66 flashback the best with like answering, well, first of all, like actually where was like Grogu? Like where is this like definitive like special bounty child? And by reintroducing what's the Jedi's name?
Ahmed Best's character.
Yes. Kellen something.
Kellen Beck. Yeah.
Kellen Beck. Like to make that come full circle, that feels like a really worthy playback where we gain new information from it. It wasn't just like, oh my God, let's try again.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any information you couldn't get in a one line of dialogue though. And it's like Keller and Beck's cool, like making him bringing up to a higher level of canon.
We got Tamara Morrison voice acting more clones. Why would you hate on this scene, Brian?
I just think it's overplayed and unnecessary. And it's kind of more like it's like a low blow. It's low hanging fruit. It's low hanging emotional fruit. Like they already did this. Like have an original idea.
Do you think on this we should change one of these to flash forward to Order 66?
Another Order 66.
Maybe they'll be like one of the Jedi like is in touch with the Force and like foresees it.
Oh no.
I just spoke it into existence. Okay, is there anything else you want to add to?
No, it's done.
I think it's perfect.
I think it's beautiful. It's stunning.
I do.
Beautiful. Amazing. Okay, I'm gonna
Good job, Brian, on pulling it up.
That's all Amanda. I just stole a thing from the Star Wars Television Discord server.
Well, that's okay.
So go check them out and debate in there what you think is going to happen. Post your own little bingo cards in our Discord. We're going to be talking about the Acolyte every week as it comes out. But I think we're about time to the hot takes segment. If my vibes are on correctly,
we have hot takes.
I might
on this show.
The premiere show for hot takes in Star Wars.
Let's do it.
Don't be too proud of this podcast you've constructed. The ability to rank content is insignificant next to the power of an exceptional hot take.
It's hot takes time. And according to Brian, we have them, especially this week, on this week's episode of Duel of the Ranks. Brian, what's your hot take?
Okay, well, I got thinking a lot after last week. We had a very heated discussion about Ahsoka, and I gave a lot of my opinions on why it didn't land for me. And I think why we got so heated was because I was advocating for the duel between Ahsoka and Vader in Rebels for being the best Star Wars lightsaber duel, and Luke and Alanis were, had the same opinion about Ahsoka versus Anakin in their World Between Worlds duel. And we loved both of them for like the same reasons, but we just disagreed that the other one sucked.
They were the same.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I think, and then I got thinking about the Bad Batch and how like a lot of my criticisms against Ahsoka are that like there were no interesting answers to these questions. Like they had so many cool ideas that they played off better in animation. And I was like, why do I like Bad Batch so much more than Ahsoka? Like, even though it categorically, kind of did the same thing where it had a lot of cool things going for it and then didn't pay off, at least Bad Batch is over. So it's like done paying off, unless they do other projects with like the Clone Rebellion and stuff like that. I don't know, but that bothered me a lot less, I guess, because I was more emotionally invested in the characters. So I guess this is not a super hot take, but if Ahsoka was as well made as the Bad Batch, and if it was as emotionally drawing, I would have loved it just as much as the Bad Batch and would not have cared so much that they left all the room at the end.
You fool! Your take is milk toast.
Nice. I don't know what anyone else thought about that. I jumped the gun a little.
I'm not going to defend myself. That's fair. Until someone says something. Someone fight me.
He's like, I
can't pick a fight with this one.
I think Ahsoka was emotionally flat, I guess is probably the better term for it. They had so much cool stuff in there. Let me get more inflammatory. Let me try to piss Alanis off.
Okay.
Nothing else to say.
Well, no, because here's the thing: being emotionally flat, you can't have that as a criticism because emotion inherently is a personal thing. So you can't.
And it also was truly emotionally flat. That's not an opinion. It did.
Yeah. Flat. Well, and that's my thing. Like for it to be like emotionally flat, like my best like comparison would be like Lily from Modern Family, like the daughter. Mm-hmm. She's an emotionally flat character, like purposefully. Like she doesn't inflict emotions. She's flat. She's deadpanned. Nothing about Ahsoka is that. So, like, I think to say that it's emotionally flat is not a criticism. It's an opinion.
Okay, no, fair enough. Maybe the better word would be tonally flat. But I think the characters themselves are emotionally flat, I guess is what I'd say. There's no emotional arc. It doesn't pay off in any means whatsoever. There's this super personal connection between Ahsoka and Anakin. They say nothing personal, nothing about their relationship. You have the reunion between Sabine and Ezra at the end that I've been waiting for years. And their hug is like two dudes that are meeting up at like a conference. Like not like these last long, like, yeah, I don't know. It's just nothing there. And then they cut before Ezra even hugs Hera at all. Like, that's what I mean, is like there are so many missed opportunities that could have really paid off that, like, maybe, I don't know, if you were really into it, then I'm glad you were, but I haven't heard anyone really
paid off narratively or paid off for you as a fan.
Paid off emotionally with, like, you know,
but personally. For you as a fan. Because think about it this way. If you're in the middle of a battle, you're not going to have a huge hug scene. You can't. You're going to die.
They weren't in a battle.
You. They were running away.
They kind of, but they were walking away slowly at the end of that scene with all their little turtle friends. I don't want to get into the semantics of it. But
no, but I mean, like, you're going to sit there for an hour narratively. It's like, as much as we want to see it happen, we want to have this long conversation, and they want to talk and they want to hug.
They do have a long conversation, and it's just boring as hell. And I'm saying that the time they used with all these characters was like done poorly. It was acted poorly. It was directed poorly. It was shot poorly. It's just not nearly as good as like a lot of these moments are in animation. Especially
and also,
Rebels.
Sabine's whole arc, even in Rebels animation, is that she emotionally can't open up. That's her whole thing with the Darksaber. That's her whole character arc. So why would she open up? That doesn't make any sense.
Podwins.
Why would we focus on? Look, Brian, it's not your fault that this take was milquetoast. Okay, when the basis of your take is a milquetoast show, focusing on characters that, like, realistically, I don't know. I mean, I get a lot of people love.
They're not Boba Fett.
Yeah, I mean, if it were Boba Fett, okay, like that'd be clearly very interesting. But
the Podwins is in the chat saying maybe expectations should be kept to being realistic, which is funny coming from the Podwins account, but also Star Wars fans being realistic, that's ridiculous too.
I'm just saying they could have gave me shirtless Thrawn, and they were too much of a coward. They didn't.
Do we really want that? I mean, how old?
Oh my god, I would have loved that. I said for my bachelorette, I wanted to meet Lars. I wanted to meet a 75-year-old man for my bachelorette. I want to show up and I want to say, hello, Lars Mikkelsen. I love you as Thrawn.
Thrawn
That's
looks
what
like
I want to do. I love him.
He looks so bad in Ahsoka.
I'm going to bring him a stash. I'm going to bring my own red contacts, and we're going to have a great time.
he's so cool in Rebels, and then
I mean, I was just expecting him to be, like fit, kind of athletic, and
what was he doing for all that time? Like,
well, because I loved it because in Legends, like he canonically like drinks beer. Like, yes, it's more of like a watered down thing, but it's an ale, and that's so funny because like imagine Thrawn drinking a Natty Light. I love that, and honestly, like yes, in Ahsoka we had him like being like strong fitness Thrawn, but the years have not been kind to him at all. And also, if you look at any old man who's like not on steroids, that's what they look like.
Yeah.
He's not gonna have a six pack.
He's
like
probably depressed, you know?
He's 70. What 75-year-old man that is not on steroids?
All right.
Come on.
Do we want to keep going on this on the milk toast take?
I will defend Thrawn's body until I die.
I want to talk about so much more than Thrawn's body. But there's not enough.
Not even a hot take. I mean, that's just a belief, an opinion, and a way of life for Alanis. So we're not even going to argue that point.
I'm putting it on a t-shirt.
What I've got a hot take. I believe that D. Bradley Baker or Bradley D. Baker, however you flip the names around and make sure Baker Bradley D. I am of the belief that he is an overrated voice actor. I see his range. A lot of it to me is campy, silly, fun, and that's fine for a kid's show. But now a lot of his stuff is being used in a very serious context. And we especially when you see him like in the moment do like all of his different impressions. I'm like, dude, a lot of it's like the same guy. And he does this Kiwi impression that I'm not of the belief is that good. And again, it's fine. I've got no problem with it for like being used in a kid's show. But now we're bringing it up so much that I'm like, I don't know. And people like love him. There's this affinity, which is fine. You're allowed to love him. I just don't think he's that great.
Hard agree.
Wow.
Very much hard agree. Hard agree. And I think that's why a lot of people didn't like Hemlock. Forward into the Black, our friend Chase, they made a really good point that Hemlock sounded so off because the voice actor for Hemlock is like has a much higher range. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not, and honestly, that's not to discredit what D. Bradley Baker does because he does have an extensive range, but I think it's a very niche range. Like Brody said, like I think it is very kid show, it's very campy. It's perfect for the Clone Wars.
Yep.
It's great for the Clone Wars. Do I think it's great for everything? No.
What else is he
we use him for so many characters?
Oh, he does everything. I mean, like we just watched the series like based on the Ark Survival video game, and he voices like the dinosaurs in it. You know, like he does like just even like non-human voices for a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. I think what you were saying, Alanis, though, is like, yeah, Hemlock's voice didn't fit because it was so much more serious than any other voice in there. And that's also like kind of, yeah, like just Wrecker's demeanor in general can't be taken seriously all the time.
Like, could you imagine Wrecker in live action?
No.
I've seen the art of it. It's pretty cool. I think he'd be a very different take.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you couldn't, like, it couldn't be his voice.
No, it couldn't. For sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And what
you know what I mean?
Thing about it was like when we were talking about the whole Mando season 3 Order 66 flashback, I remember finding it jarring that we had Tamara Morrison's voice back for the clones because for so many years since episode 3, all we've gotten outside of the Battlefront 2 video, even in the Battlefront 2 video game, it's Bradley D. Baker. And so you're just like accustomed to that's just the voice of the clones. And seeing it for the first time since 2005 being Tamara Morrison again, I'm like, oh yeah, it's like gravelly, deep, like they're intimidating. Whereas these clones, you know, they all sound like this. It's like it's not even like. I mean, look, they're personable. You get to know them. They're a lot more charming and fun, but it's not this like deep, menacing kind of like that like silent killer kind of tone that you'd hear with Tamara Morrison's acting. Stark contrast.
I would love to see more of Tem in as the clones, for sure. I don't think D. Bradley Baker's a bad actor at all. I'm not gonna say he's like the best voice actor ever because I don't know much of his other stuff, but like you're right that like a lot of the clones' voices are similar, but they're so distinct. Like for each character, it's actually incredible how minimal his approach to it is. Like, is that sounds like I'm just. Bad is good. No, it's not because he's bad. It's the subtleties.
I think it's not a question of bad. I think it's a question of overrated or not.
Overrated.
I think it's a sufficiently hot take, and I agree with it. I was like taken aback when you first said it, and then I was like, you know what? I understand it. So I think that's kind of a good hot take for me.
Yeah. I think.
All right, let's give him a Roger.
I was gonna say he deserves it.
Roger. Woo woo. All right. Any other hot takes this episode?
Trying to think if I had any for Jedi.
We have Darth
Survivor.
Maul in the chat. That's pretty cool.
The Darth Maul says
the Darth Maul.
The Darth Maul.
That's pretty cool. Like,
I would love to see
how many
Darth Maul
times
duel
did he die?
Yoda.
I don't know, but he's still around.
There are so many like cool matchups that we never saw in the Clone Wars, like Darth Maul versus Yoda. That would have been awesome to see. Count Dooku versus Darth Maul. Are you kidding me? That happened in Dark Disciple, right? Oh my gosh. They should have just made all of Dark Disciple into Clone Wars Season 7.
That's what they should build the next like animated series. Like they should just like make a book and like animate it.
All right. Well,
hot take.
Hot take.
I mean,
I got a bad feeling about this hot take.
I do love that one. I really like that soundbite.
I haven't heard it in a while. We've been pretty agreeable recently.
I think my favorite is just the Ewok. But anyway.
I don't think I've even seen the Ewok. Do the Ewok.
Play it again.
Do the Ewok. Oh, just the picture of the Ewok. Okay,
Yeah,
I thought you meant there was an Ewok soundbite.
We should update them and get some like fresh
Get some
meat.
Yub Nub up in here.
Yeah.
Ooh,
what if Roger gets replaced with Yub Nub?
Yub Nub.
Yeah.
And then oh my gosh, and
Go ahead,
then
Miss Roger.
a loser sound could be like Udini.
Udini. I like Ichuta
yeah.
a lot. That's like my favorite slur in all of Star Wars.
Roger, like the new Roger should just be Salacious's laugh.
Just Brody. That's all we need. It's right there. We'll just cut that and use that. That's perfect. So good.
Oh,
Well, any last like wish list items of things like outside of the Acolyte, maybe any whatever you want to see. Like there's the Lego thing coming up. There's all
I do want to add in based on like you had mentioned Yoda at the very beginning and I was like puppet or CGI, but as long as there are practical effects like to some standard, like that's always a big mark in my book. I love seeing puppets and like full costumes, so I really hope that we get some of that.
Mm-hmm. Hot take: CGI Yoda is better than puppet Yoda. Not episode 1 CGI. That one isn't canon anymore. Not the original.
Here's so powerful you are.
Well, no, he was a puppet originally, but he was CGI in a couple of shots, actually. Sorry, I got to correct myself. No, I love.
Ooh,
CGI
someone said
Yoda.
we get a B1 battle droid in it.
They've been around. That would be so cool.
That would be cool. Darth Maul says, "What if the Lego thing gives us Thrawn working for the rebellion?"
Good Thrawn. Oh, that'd be so hot. Oh yes.
We got Darth Jar Jar and
sexualizing Thrawn.
Oh, that's my entire hobby. That's my favorite hobby. Actually,
You need to start sexualizing Thrawn.
Yeah, I don't know. You haven't this whole time, Brody.
We're gonna shame you into sexualizing Thrawn.
Yes,
that's gonna be the name of this episode: shaming you into sexualizing Thrawn. Title of this podcast sponsored by Eiffel 65 Blue Abadi Abadai.
Also known as Mac Rebo.
Yeah, pretty much.
Dude, I would die if you went to a Max. this is an opportunity that is clearly the bag is being fumbled by Galaxy's Edge. They need a nightclub. And Max Rebo, because they have one, but Max Rebo needs to be the DJ where once an hour Eiffel 65's Blue comes on and Max just like gets it like that.
And they need a Garza Flip character actor, obviously.
Yes. Yeah.
I'd be down.
Why can't I remember who Garza Fwip is? Oh, yes, the Twi'lek from Boba Fett. Oh, yeah. Oh, man, I miss her so much. Probably the worst death in all of Star Wars.
Didn't she get blown up?
Like,
yeah.
Maybe she'll show up in Acolyte.
Maybe she survived the same way that Max Rebo survived the Jabba's
barge
ship blowing up. Yeah.
Somehow, Garza Fwip has returned. And I'm not complaining.
There's a secret trap door.
Yeah, that's works for me.
If you didn't see the death on screen.
Yeah, there's no body. Habeas corpus. Show me the body. Either way, life or death. No.
Could you imagine though if you were like that person in like real life? Like everyone's like upset there's a funeral because like I don't know, there was an explosion and you're just like, I don't know.
See you later.
I'm just saying, I didn't see it on screen.
In
real life, that would be an incredibly annoying person. But like here in Star Wars, we've like come to make people accustomed to be like, oh.
I mean, in Star Wars, that one senator got like shot with a sniper in the head, but was recovering the next day.
Oh, Orn Frita. Yeah, but he's special. He's got a big head.
Going back to Bad Batch for a second, were we like supposed to believe that Tech was the like?
No, it was just nobody. It was nobody. It was like Marek. It was Glup Shido. That's who that was. Like
really cool
right there.
Yeah, like were they trying? Is that like the whole thing? Were they like trying to make you like, oh, psyched? Yeah, like
there's like one like just because he survives the waterfall fight with Crosshair, that's like what everyone points to, like, oh, he has to be important because the other clones died. So that's kind of it. I don't know if it's necessarily like a deliberate choice to make you think it's Tech.
I think they just love red herrings. I think they're just like, you know what? This will get him going. This clickbait. And they're just red herring everything.
Or maybe it's just this clone is super badass and y'all should watch out for him because the climax is going to be crazy. Which
Sniper X is the friends we made along the way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the name of this podcast, actually. That's the name of the title. Sniper X is the friends that we made along the way.
Heck yeah.
So I've got some questions then, if we're like just ranting about nonsense at this point. How far do you think the Avengers by themselves could go? And without any support, no major armies or anything else, the Avengers, right? Like the what you see in Endgame, that version, not the group, not from the first one, the Endgame Avengers. How far do you think they could go with just completely destroying the Empire? And I mean like all the Empire's forces. You've got like the entire fleet of Star Cruisers, the Death Star, Darth Vader, Sidious. Everyone's coming at the Avengers with like whatever the Avengers have.
I don't know anything about Marvel, but I think Captain America chokes. I think Iron Man like doesn't do well. I just feel like in I don't know. I just have a bad feeling.
He tries to fight a TIE fighter. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a bad feeling about it. I do. I think Thor would do the best. Because I feel like with him being from space originally,
awesome.
It gives him a little more of an advantage. I think he was more accustomed.
Hulk could easily take a Star Destroyer down by himself.
Yeah, I mean, he took down a planet at one point.
There you go.
No,
Captain Marvel could destroy the entire Empire with a thought.
I have never seen Captain. I don't even know.
That's what I'm saying. Like Captain Marvel with an Infinity Stone, but also like I don't know. Like, what is an Infinity Stone to the Force? Like,
what's a king to a mob?
Okay, so the might of Thanos.
Yeah.
Oh, I think Salacious B. Crumb with a Glock could destroy Thanos in like a second.
It's a scrappy little fella.
One bullet.
You gotta watch out.
All I need.
I
You
agree.
guys seen the movie Friday with Ice Cube and Chris Tucker?
Oh,
Have not.
No.
Oh man. All right. Certified classic. And just
Cool.
I just see like Thanos getting knocked down and just by something, and then just in black and white, Salacious B. Crumb just right over him. Just it's like his own version of you just got knocked the heck out.
I
Anyway,
agree. I don't know what Brody's avoiding right now, but I think we're about ready to start wrapping this episode up. We've hit some great points. I think before we get into too many niche 90s film references, we should, I don't know, let the viewers know what's going on, what's happening, where can they find more Duel of the Ranks content?
Googling it.
Yeah, Google Duel of the Ranks, and you'll find our website, dueloftheranks.com, and you can follow us, subscribe, like, listen, share, tell a friend, take it to the mall, and
Send
you
smoke
know,
signals
go for a drive.
pigeons.
Yes, yeah.
Mhm.
And yeah, tell your friends, because we're going to be talking about the Acolyte starting next week. And just posted our bingo card that we created during this episode in our Discord chat, and posted a blank version of the bingo card too, so you can fill out yours if you want to follow along. And maybe if you beat us, maybe we'll send you something. We'll see.
I love it.
Oh,
Okay.
It'll be fun.
Yeah. It is
Or
fun.
not.
I just love
Maybe.
talking about Star Wars. Definitely jump in the Discord. With that, it's been real, y'all. I think we're good. Actually, Brody, you were the one who introduced this episode. I'll let you do the outro.
And that's this week's episode of Duel of the Ranks. If you want more information, you know what to do. dueloftheranks.com and Google Duel of the Ranks. I have been Brody. He has been Brian. She has been Amanda. And she has been Alanis. That is this week's episode. And we will see you next week as we break down episode 1 and 2, or just episode 1? I don't
I
know
think
how
it's
many are
2.
being released.
probably 2.
1 and 2 of the Acolyte. We'll see you then.